I want to welcome you to the School of Arts, Community and Protective Services. I'm Heather Fowler, and I am the Academic Chair of Arts and Community. And today I'm going to talk about the Early Childhood Education Program. The Early Childhood Education Program is a 2-year diploma. It runs from September to June. Students acquire the knowledge, skills, and abilities to design, implement, and evaluate a holistic early childhood education program. The focus of this program is on children's ages 0 to 12 years of age. Graduates of this program will be prepared to implement the New Brunswick curriculum framework for early learning and childcare. Students also get credited for the EECD 90-hour course for curriculum framework, as this is a requirement to qualify as an educator in the early childhood learning centers. In our program, we use a developmental approach, which is a child-centric holistic approach to learning and guiding children. Children are the agents of their own learning, and every child is unique. We look at ways to increase the child's ability in all areas of development, including promoting a physical, cognitive, emotional, and social well-being. As part of that well-being, we look at developing healthy interpersonal relationships, whether that be educator to child, educator to parent, or child to child. We spend a lot of time with the development approach of the curriculum framework, looking at ways to foster that growth through encouraging concrete experimentation through play. One such experimentation is through the concept of loose parts. Loose parts are open-ended materials. They could be anything: beads, pine cones, blocks. These loose parts enhance children's ability to play and think outside the box with imagination and creativity. By creating indoor and outdoor environments for open-ended play and exploration, children holistically develop skills, including problem solving, creativity, observation, persistence. Numeracy and literacy and team skills can all be built through play-based learning. Throughout our curriculum, most of our core courses are particular to the early childhood education. And those core courses, for example, in term 1, are orientation to early childhood education, children's well-being, child development conception to age 2, literacy and program planning, observation and documentation in ECE. There are also common courses, for example, in year 1, that are common to all programs or most programs that could be used as a credit transfer. And those are things like interpersonal communication, applied writing, work safely, and orientation to community service. We also, in the first year, have other courses that are specific to early childhood education, such as child development, preschool to age 12, guiding children positively, curriculum development, inclusive education, sociology, employment strategies, and even practicum. The focus in term 1 is really acquiring about that introductory knowledge. We don't expect students to come in with that knowledge intact of the early childhood education program, so we focus on that introductory knowledge for term 1. The focus in term 2 and 3 is building on that knowledge and then progressively applying your knowledge. Then on year 2, that builds on that foundation year, as well as adding other advanced concepts such as leadership and advocacy skills. As NBCC is well known for its applied learning, we're no different in the early education, childhood education program, and we do focus on work integrated learning. Work integrated learning and practicum is applying your knowledge from the theory that you've learned. It is done through various concepts, including practicum and using our living classroom. As you see here, this is an example of one of the sections in one of our living classrooms on the campus. These living classrooms are used for experimental work and integrated learning. These types of experiential learning are supervised both at the placement by a mentor and your instructor. As a student, you get not only to learn the theory through the courses, but you also get to create and modify the living classroom environment to implement projects and experience hands-on learning. Through work integrated learning opportunities with external partners, you also get opportunities to gain work experience under the supervision of a workplace mentor and your instructor. So for example, some of the pictures here show students that are planning sessions and planning learning activities and invitations to learning that they could be used for children. And those could be indoor environments or they could be outdoor environments. There are some specific considerations that you might want to look at if you're planning to come to the early childhood education program. There are some requirements by certain host agencies, and that could be immunization and a medical form, which is proof of immunizations. There is, as a standard, a criminal record check with a vulnerable sector check. This is part of the legislation. You will not be able to go to a facility, an early learning center, without a criminal record check. You will also be required for a social development check, but that is not done through the RCMP or city police. That's done through social development. It's also not done through MBCC. It's done through your work placements. It is the student's responsibility to ensure that they're eligible to participate at a host agency. All programs now at MBCC are live. So there are computer software and specifications that you should look at. Their software licenses are included in the cost of the 2-year program, such as Microsoft Suite, which includes Word and PowerPoint and Outlook. Since these programs are considered live, you really do need a laptop for academic success. You will probably really struggle if you do not meet the minimum requirements, which can be found on our website. Our academic year for our college life works on a 717 model. For example, term 1 is session A is 7 weeks, and it usually runs from September to towards the end of October. Student Success Week is week 8. Student Success Week is a chance for students to meet with mentors, meet with instructors, and as a study break. Session B usually runs from November to December. Term 2, session A, January to February, and then another Student Success Week. And then session B runs from March to April, and then we have a term 3, which runs from April to June. So what does a typical day look like? Well, a typical day is probably some lectures, some demos, and some of our material is on Brightspace. As you can see in this picture, some of our students are working on a experiential learning so that they're actually creating environments and explorations of learning that they might do with children that might come into the classroom. You could also be doing virtual classes on Brightspace. The good news is that there is a lot of hands-on learning. The bad news is that there's often lots of projects, and more projects. It is a mixture of assignments, projects, and essays. Some courses are more academic, so that you might be doing some research papers and presentations. There is always discussion questions and discussion threads on Brightspace. We do have tests and exams. Rubrics are basically a marking key, and most of your assignments and projects will come with a rubric to tell you exactly what you need to do to get a passing grade or to get 100%. Our passing grade at MBCC is 60%. And I really have to say that communication is the key to success in managing college life. The habits of those successful students with that communication is attendance, engagement, staying off your cell phones, managing your classroom time. And sometimes it's about attitude that helps you with that perseverance and patience. If this is a program you really love and you're really engaged with that, you will find it easier. If it's something that you're not satisfied with, you're probably going to find it harder. And that is a typical indicator of student, being in the right program at the right time, because it really is about that college life balance, to be in the right program at the right time. There's lots of job prospects for the early childhood education. It is considered an essential career. Students find placements in early learning child care centers as educators, but they can also find placements with preschool programs. They might be working at the schools as an EA. Usually, early childhood educators only work in the elementary school systems, but you also might work in other places in hospitals, early intervention, or even family resource centers. Most students, when they come out, they may not become an entrepreneur right away. They may usually will work for a company for a while, but a few do become entrepreneurs and start their own centers. We also have some articulation agreements, and what that means is that 2+2 programs, for example, if you, and it's also in some of our other programs, like anything that is a two-year diploma, ECE has the UMB Bachelor of Education in Early Childhood, so you could get your 2-year diploma with NBCC and then apply for a Bachelor of Education at UMB. They would also be eligible for a New Brunswick Teacher's Certificate 4 with a major in elementary education. There is also the Applied Business degree through UMBSJ, and that is for all 2-year programs. So you could come to NBCC, take your 2 years, and then go on to university and get a degree. If you're interested in these programs, I would encourage you to reach out to NBCC. You can find our recruitment people at nbcc.ca. You can look for further information on the program at nbcc.ca programs, courses, full-time programs. We would be more than happy to answer any questions you may have or explore any career options in early childhood education or any other program.